We're kicking off today with CM Punk, who on the post-Bad Blood Raw shared his intentions to challenge for the World Heavyweight title, but so far that match has yet to happen. Well, there was talk of Punk challenging Gunther at Survivor Series War Games. That didn't transpire, but fans can expect Punk's first shot at WWE Gold in over a decade next year. That's according to WrestleVotes, who reported during a Backstage Pass Q&A that WWE wants Punk in a World Championship match at WrestleMania 41. They stated, "I've heard so many things on Punk, especially as of late with the Roman Reigns stuff being thrown in there, but the one main factor that I've heard almost all year is that they want Punk to be involved in a world title match. I don't know how the puzzle pieces are going to fit, but they want him at the top." Later on, though, WrestleVotes shared their uncertainty as to how exactly Punk will fit into one of the two World Championship matches expected for next year's show. They said, "I don't think it'll be with Cody Rhodes, so that's one title match out the window. Does he fit into the other one? I'm going to say yes at this point. I don't think it'll be Gunther, Bill Apter. That's the thing. I don't think it's Punk and Gunther. So if they want him involved with the title, then what do you do with Gunther?" With WrestleMania always drawing nearer, it'll be up to WWE's creative team to figure out how Punk fits into the world title scene while keeping Gunther and other names in their roles. But what do you think about Punk possibly having a world title match at WrestleMania? Who should he face, and how should WWE handle Gunther's role? Let us know in the comments. As the countdown to WWE Raw's Netflix debut continues, the promotion is going all out to make the January 6th premiere feel like a WrestleMania caliber event. The kickoff show opened with announcer Joe Tessitore welcoming fans, followed by Michael Cole thanking the WWE Universe for their continued support and building excitement for this historic new chapter. Cole shared his enthusiasm for the first ever Raw on Netflix and announced that fan favorite Pat McAfee would be returning for the occasion. Next, Paul Triple H Levesque took the stage, reflecting on WWE's groundbreaking 2024 and praising the current roster as the most talented group in company history. He also highlighted WWE's global expansion and credited Matt Bloom and Shawn Michaels for shaping NXT's success. Levesque teased January 6th as the beginning of a new era, promising bigger stars, grander storylines, and hinted that Netflix is only the start. He reminded fans that all roads lead to WrestleMania in Las Vegas. Adam Pearce followed with a major announcement, confirming Logan Paul as the newest member of the Raw roster. Greeted by a mixed reaction, Paul called the moment beautiful and boldly declared himself the best in WWE and beyond. He promised unforgettable matches and confidently stated, "WWE is now my playground." The surprises continued as Rhea Ripley joined the stage, previewing her likely showdown with Liv Morgan. Ripley, never one to hold back, mocked Morgan as a bum and a coward. Liv Morgan then made her entrance, accompanied by Raquel and Dominic. Morgan fired back, listing her achievements and calling out the big names she's beaten, even taking a jab at Michael Cole. That's when Cole revealed a surprise holiday gift from Adam Pearce, a title match set for the Netflix debut of Raw. As the two competitors squared off, Ripley doubled down, claiming Morgan only pinned her with help and that Morgan's title reign was only possible because Ripley wasn't around. Ripley vowed to reclaim what's rightfully hers, promising to do so on Netflix. Kevin Owens stormed the stage in frustration, clutching the Winged Eagle title. Owens demanded to know why he wasn't included in the event, but his rant was abruptly interrupted as security, made up of NXT trainees, escorted him off stage. In footage shared by WWE, Owens can be seen stealing a roll of tape from a staffer and taping a photo of himself holding the Winged Eagle title over an image of Cody Rhodes. Owens has gone as far as declaring himself the true WWE champion since his controversial loss at Saturday night's main event, and this feud is clearly far from over. Rhodes is currently out of action thanks to a package pile driver delivered by Owens, and what do you make of the actions of the true WWE champion? Let us know down below. The excitement reached a fever pitch when Paul Heyman made a surprise appearance, introducing the new bloodline. Grabbing the mic in his signature style, Heyman declared that there can only be one tribal chief, and in his eyes, that title unquestionably belongs to Roman Reigns. He then turned his attention to Solo Sikoa, stating that Solo has shaken the wrestling world and taken control of the bloodline. Heyman concluded by declaring that everything now leads to a monumental clash between Solo and Roman Reigns. Shortly after, WWE World Heavyweight Champion Gunther was introduced as a surprise guest by Paul Levesque and Adam Pearce. When asked about his dominant reign, Gunther acknowledged the challenges, but confidently stated that when he looks in the mirror, he knows he's the best. He emphasized his focus on making history and dismissed his loss to Cody Rhodes as yesterday's news, choosing to concentrate on his future dominance. Regarding Logan Paul's aspirations, Gunther admitted Paul's entertainment talent, but firmly declared he's not World Heavyweight Champion material. He added that if Paul ever earns a title shot, it would be his duty and pleasure to wipe the smile off his face. The energy escalated when CM Punk made his entrance, warmly embracing Pierce and Levesque, and when Michael Cole asked Punk about the favor Paul Heyman had extended to him, Punk quipped that he needed Heyman's Netflix password to finish Heels Season 2. On a more serious note, Punk expressed that his return to WWE meant a great deal to him, calling it a place he never truly wanted to leave. Reflecting on his injury, Punk shared that tearing his triceps turned into an opportunity to regroup and make the most of a tough situation. He joked about sounding like a company man, but admitted that he was genuinely excited to return while WWE continues to make history. Punk also took a moment to reflect on WWE's evolution from its territorial roots to its partnerships with NBC, the move to cable, and now the groundbreaking deal with Netflix. He kept his thoughts brief, stating that he didn't want to dwell on history, but emphasized that his match against Seth Rollins is about two unparalleled performers going head-to-head. Seth Rollins then made his entrance, immediately launching into a tirade against Punk. The tension skyrocketed as they came face to face, with security stepping in to separate them, while the crowd erupted into chants for Punk. Rollins, seething, said, "I'll see you on the 5th," before storming off. What match are you most excited for? Could CM Punk's favor from Paul Heyman hint at something bigger, or is it just a part of his mind games? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Over to AEW Dynamite, which opened with Renee Paquette interviewing Jay White and Orange Cassidy backstage before we saw Mercedes Mone make her way to the ring. Mone offered Anna Jay a handshake to start their TBS title match, but this was just a ruse to slap her, and while the CEO downed Jay with a headlock, the challenger was far from done. Jay was noticeably more aggressive than usual, while Mone was her typical cocky self, and this was a huge opportunity for Jay, though Mone treated it like just another Wednesday. This match was relatively predictable as Jay came close to winning a few times, but the CEO found a way to stay alive, and a competitive sequence was followed by Mone getting the win. Mone hit her finisher to retain the title in a fun match, albeit with a couple of hiccups that reminded fans once again that Anna Jay is a future champion in AEW. But what did you make of the match? Would you have liked to have seen Anna Jay win the title, or was Mone retaining the right call? Let us know below. It was only recently that the Hurt Syndicate had shown interest in signing Ricochet, who has been displaying a change in mannerisms and conduct as of late. Ricochet came out for an interview, but before he could say too much, he was joined by the Hurt Syndicate, who had clearly changed their mind on the one and only. Ricochet tried to ingratiate himself with the group, mentioning his recent Continental Classic victories and attempts to be in the faction, and MVP asked to see the business card. MVP ripped up the business card he'd initially given Ricochet, while Lashley held him by the neck, and MVP berated the High Flyer for trying to flatter them. With that said, the faction did let Ricochet leave the ring relatively unharmed, suggesting that there may still be part of the Hurt Syndicate ready to do business with the one and only. Shelton Benjamin stayed in the ring for his Continental Classic Blue League match against the Beast Mortos, while Lashley headed to the back and MVP kept his distance, sat at the commentary table. Benjamin gained the early control, but Mortos made a comeback, but just as he was picking up serious steam, the Beast tripped on the top rope, allowing Shelton to regain the upper hand. This could have easily been a sub 5-minute match, but they went through a break and had enough time to make this both entertaining and competitive. The two found their groove quickly, leading to fans reacting to everything they did, but in the end it was Benjamin who scored the win and 3 precious points in the Blue League. After the match, the Hurt Syndicate assaulted Mortos, and Daniel Garcia arrived and, realizing he'd be outnumbered by MVP's faction, brought out Mark Briscoe. Despite their best efforts though, Lashley and Benjamin took them down quickly, as once again the Hurt Syndicate proved their dominance on AEW programming. Do you think Benjamin was the right person to win, or should those 3 points have gone to the Beast Mortos? Let us know in the comments section. In an interview with Renee Paquette, Ricochet didn't want to talk about the Hurt Syndicate and instead addressed his upcoming Continental Classic showdown with Will Ospreay. During this segment though, Ricochet was confronted by Swerve Strickland, who taunted Ricochet as a follower, while Ricochet brought up Swerve failing to win the Classic last year. This was clearly a tease of a feud between the two, and with Strickland having his own issues with the Hurt Syndicate, MVP's faction will likely be watching these issues very closely. Are you excited at the prospect of Ricochet versus Strickland? What role, if any, do you see the Hurt Syndicate playing in this? Let us know your thoughts down below. In the Continental Classic, Will Ospreay got the chance to work like a powerhouse against Darby Allin, thanks to Will having a rare, significant size and strength advantage. All through the first segment, Ospreay dominated the action, and as one would expect, there was incredible agility on display from both men. The crowd was getting more and more excited with the execution of each difficult maneuver, which the two men made look effortless with pinpoint precision. Ospreay hit a Styles Clash from the apron to the floor that nearly saw Allin counted out, but Darby beat the count and made a comeback. A Scorpion Death Drop and two Coffin Drops saw Allin get the win, tying the Gold League's first place between Allin, Ospreay, Ricochet, and Claudio Castagnoli with 6 points each. In a backstage interview, Jay White shared his frustration that his allies, Juice Robinson and the Guns, haven't been present during what's been a very difficult time for him. Both Austin Gunn and Juice Robinson are out with injuries, and White was angry that he had to rely on Orange Cassidy and Hangman Page in the show's main event. That main event saw Pac, Jon Moxley, and Wheeler Yuta face off against Orange Cassidy, Jay White, and Hangman Page, Moxley's 3 challengers at next week's World's End. The Death Riders stared down Darby Allin after his victory over Will Ospreay before focusing on their own match, while Marina Shafir and Claudio Castagnoli remained at ringside. The Death Riders always like having an unfair advantage, which their 3 opponents struggled to stay on the same page before the match even begun. An angry Hangman told OC and White that he'd start, but when he saw that Yuta would be starting for their opponents, he tagged out to Cassidy as he only wants to fight Moxley. Cassidy went straight after his former friend, and this match played out as one would expect, with Team AEW showing issues amongst themselves throughout the match. In fact, the Cowboy left his teammates high and dry and walked out mid-match, only to return when OC and White struggled to keep up against the Death Riders. In the end, though, it was the heels who got the win, thanks in part to the issues among their opponents, as Moxley rolled up OC while Hangman and Switchblade were arguing. The Death Riders kept the fight going after the match while Shafir and Moxley got to safety through the crowd, and on this night, it was the champion who had all the momentum. Recently, it was reported that WWE had sold one of its old production studios on Hamilton Avenue, but some news outlets mistakenly claimed that Titan Towers was sold. Both buildings had been part of WWE for decades, but as PW Insider has confirmed this week, WWE has not sold the Titan Towers building that's located in Stamford. The Hamilton Avenue building will be used by the V20 Group as a high-end warehouse, but for the time being, Titan Towers has not been sold, despite what some have claimed. TNA news now, as several names have either finished or are set to finish with the company, and fans have seen the last of Aiden Prince in a TNA ring. While Fightful reports that Prince's contract will expire on January 1st, he'll remain involved in a behind-the-scenes role where he'll hope to aid TNA outside of the squared circle. Back to Dynamite, as MJF cut a promo about his World's End showdown with Adam Cole and included an edited picture of Cole looking skinnier than Steve Rogers before the Super Soldier Serum. Cole would attack MJF after tricking him with a video designed to make MJF believe Cole was backstage, building the intensity ahead of World's End. Up next, Hook and Katsuyori Shibata took on Nick Wayne and Christian Cage, with Wayne surprisingly scoring the first takedown on Hook when they started for their teams. Shibata and Cage tagged in and wrestled for control, and the first several minutes of this match were uneventful, with a notable lack of chaos one usually sees in AEW tag bouts. This was actually good in this case, as it meant both teams were able to get the upper hand, resulting in a steady pace that allowed all 4 to look good at different times. Thanks to interference from Kip Sabian and Shayna Wayne, Nick was able to get a surprising pin on Shibata to win the match, his first win on Dynamite since September 13th, 2023. That match was also a tag match, and with Wayne finally getting a win on AEW's flagship show, this week's show was a holiday bash to remember for the patriarchy. Now, it's been over a year since CM Punk was terminated from AEW, but this week, the Best in the World's presence was allegedly felt at the show, and not in a good way. On Twitter, a fan who goes by Hello Kansas claimed that they were verbally assaulted by staff at this week's Dynamite, all for wearing a CM Punk shirt. The staff allegedly screamed at Kansas and threatened to throw him out unless he took off the shirt and turned it inside out, hiding any Punk-themed designs. AEW has not commented publicly on this claim, which has yet to be proven true, but if it did occur, it could have serious ramifications for the All Elite promotion. After all, the fan did not do anything illegal, and even if staff had the right for him to change his shirt, there would have been better methods to handle this situation than shouting in his face. This is an ongoing situation, and we hope to provide some updates if more information comes out, as this alleged incident is hardly a good look for those in AEW. But what do you make of this alleged situation? Were the staff who reportedly screamed in the wrong, or did the fan know how wearing a Punk shirt would be treated? Let us know below. Logan Paul surprised the wrestling world with a blockbuster announcement following WWE Raw's kickoff event on Netflix, officially declaring his return to the squared circle. However, some sources suggest that Paul is parallelly preparing for a boxing match, with rumors swirling that his next opponent could be none other than Conor McGregor. The former UFC champion dropped this bombshell on Twitter while addressing speculation about a potential fight with UFC featherweight champion Ilia Topuria. McGregor dismissed the Topuria rumors, tweeting, "The rumors of a bout with Topuria are false. I'm in preliminary agreements with the Ambani family to face Logan Paul in a boxing exhibition in India. I've agreed. I will then seek my return to the octagon." If the claim holds true, this would mark McGregor's first return to boxing since his high-profile bout with Floyd Mayweather Jr. in 2017. McGregor hasn't competed professionally since his loss to Dustin Poirier at UFC 264 in July 2021, and in the interim, he has explored acting, starring as Knox in the 2024 remake of Roadhouse, alongside Jake Gyllenhaal. Logan Paul, on the other hand, secured his last official boxing victory in October 2023 against Dylan Dennis. Since then, he's shifted focus to WWE, where he recently lost the United States Championship to L.A. Knight at SummerSlam in August 2024. While Paul has yet to respond to McGregor's claims, the mere prospect of these two global icons facing off in a boxing exhibition has electrified fans and pundits alike. A potential showdown in India promises to be a spectacle, merging McGregor's combat sports legacy with Paul's crossover stardom on a stage set for international acclaim. In recent weeks, a brand new wrestler named Toni Storm has been making waves as the newest member of the AEW roster, or at least that's what Storm herself believes. Since returning after months away, Storm has been showing signs of amnesia and has completely forgotten about her past 2 years in AEW or her popular timeless persona. During Dynamite, RJ City spoke with Storm and tried to jog her memory, asking Storm if past names like Saraya, Mercedes Moné, and Mariah May ring any bells. Storm responded by calling them legends, icons, and the best in the business, and when asked about being timeless, Storm said she only knew of Toni time and that RJ may be confused. While there's been flashes of her past in matches, Storm seemingly has no recollection of her AEW run before her return, and who knows when, if ever, she'll get her memories back. Are you liking this new character for Toni Storm, and where do you see this newcomer going from here? Share your predictions for Storm's future down in the comments section. At Wrestle Dynasty on January 5th, Kenny Omega will make his long-awaited return to the ring, and this week, AEW teased Omega's comeback with a short vignette. The vignette shared clips of some of Omega's best moments in AEW, and fans are excited that after over a year out of action, they'll be seeing the best bout machine back sooner than later. And that was this week's Holiday Bash edition of Dynamite, but other than a red and green color scheme and a smattering of props, this was just like any other Dynamite. That could be because next week's Dynamite will fall on Christmas Day, which will also be the start of Hanukkah, so AEW may be saving the real holiday festivities for then. Even as just another episode of Dynamite, this show delivered some great matches across 2 hours, with 2 enjoyable Continental Classic matches, a solid TBS title match, and 2 entertaining tag bouts. The highlight of the show had to be Ospreay vs. Allin, as the pair stole the show from everyone else, and this 5-match format seems to be the best for AEW. It allows for great matches and leaves enough time for non-wrestling segments like the interview with Toni Storm and backstage encounters like we saw with Ricochet and Swerve Strickland. Overall, this was a show worth watching, but if you only have time for one thing, make sure to check out the show-stealing first ever match between Ospreay and Allin. But what did you make of this Holiday Bash edition of AEW Dynamite? Did it excite you ahead of next week's World's End? Let us know your thoughts below, and as always, thanks for watching.